Hello again and welcome to the Warhammer 40k Tactics video. Now before we get into today's video, as per tradition, I'd like to say a big thank you to Haterous Monarch for sending in these pictures of his very cool Genestealer Cult army. Really liking the purple scheme. And I actually want to say that I think Haterous sent in some pictures a few months ago of when he first got into Cult of his Brood Brothers, and that was actually what I like the look of the model so much. That's what inspired me to go out and get loads of my own Brood Brother style model, because I actually really like them. It's such a simple change to the Cadian model, but it makes such a difference. Just a basic head swap. And the extra little knives and bits of stuff. It's really cool. So thank you, Haters, for sending your models in. Thank you for inspiring me, you might say. And if anyone else has got any cool pictures that they want to send in to me for me to use in my videos, please post on my Facebook page. There will be a link down in the description below. Preferably, could you post them on the page rather than send them to me as a message? I see them then. I don't check my messages all that often. I do check them. I do check them, sometimes. But I like to quickly scroll through my Facebook feed when I get a chance, which is much easier than me going through my messages individually. So thank you guys. And yeah, that if you want to, post them on my Facebook page, and then I can use them in the videos, and it's just my little way of saying thank you to the awesome Warhammer community. You guys put a lot of effort into painting your models. You put a lot of effort into coming and watching my videos and liking and commenting. The least I can do is show off some of your hard work that you've put into your models. So, without further ado, let's talk about today's video. Now, today's video is almost a general tactics video. Almost. But I think the two armies that can really take the most away from this is Imperial Guard, obviously, and Genestealer Cult. So it's kind of a combo. Okay, it's kind of a combo army. It's a bit of a Brood Brother video, It's a combination of Guard and Genestealer Cult. So what we're talking about is mass deep striking. Now, or mass reserves, as it were. Now, obviously, I've had a lot of experience with this, with both of these armies, with my Scions and with my Genestealer Cult. And the problem you can have with mass deep striking is sometimes you can overcommit to it. Sometimes, and Genestealer Cult are particularly vulnerable to this. Okay, sometimes you can really overcommit to it, and the problem you have is that you don't have enough on the board at the start of the game, and this could lead to the obvious situation of, you're all tabled before any of your reserves come in. But that's generally unlikely, because you can always hide a unit or something. But more than likely is simply that your opponent gains massive board control at the beginning of the game, and he uses that to screen out, to zone out your deep striking reserves, and then you find that deep striking wasn't really all that useful. You're not really getting any. There's not a huge amount of good spots left in the on the board with deep strike in, and you just end up deep striking in basically in front of or in your own deployment zone, essentially, or nearest damn it. So, how do you mass deep strike properly? Okay, now the important thing is you've got to make sure that you keep enough on the board not to get tabled. Okay? With my Genestealer Cult, how I like to do this is I like to have 2 squads of the bikes, of the Atalan Jackals, because they're 2 wounds each, and they're -1 to hit, and they're toughness 4, so they're surprisingly durable. And but also they can, but we'll get to that in a moment. They're surprisingly durable. And then I take 3 Goliath trucks with 3 squads of neophytes in, because then I tried just taking the neophytes, just taking like big blocks of like 20 neophytes. I actually found them just getting wiped out, and what I found is it's better for the enemy to try and kill one of your trucks, and that which is pretty tough. It's the same number of wounds. Remember, guys, it's the same number of wounds. It's 20 wounds, but now 10 of them are toughness 6 with a 4+ save and a 6 with feel no pain. It's pretty good. So it makes you a lot more durable. and makes you less susceptible to morale as well. Now, the reason I like to take those units is twofold. Okay, one, durability, which will stop me from getting tabled, but two, it gives me board control, because all of those units are very mobile. The trucks can move 12 inches, the bikes can move 14 inches. And so what that lets you do is it lets you claim a certain proportion of the board. It lets you be aggressive. And it means that your opponent, if he's not got dedicated close combat units, is less likely to come at you. You know, it's less like he's going to be like, shit, those guys are getting close to me, I need to shoot them, I need to kill them. And dedicated close combat units, you're so in their face that rather than them boosting across the board, like Shining Spears, for example, boosting across the board, and then charging you, and then killing you, and then consolidating, and actually going a really long way, instead you've sort of zoned them out to like the halfway point, just over the halfway point of the battlefield. That's, you know, even if you move in advance and you're meaning they're assaulting you in their half of the table, which means you're now able to deep strike fully in, like, you know, in a good area of the battle grid. So that's the way I like to do it. Okay, they're the reason I like to take those two units. That's the key to be able to mass deep strike. You have to be able to claim. You have to be able to. It's not about surviving the first turn. It's about claiming a certain amount of board control. Okay, this is going to come up a lot. Okay, these are the lessons I really want to hammer home, guys. It's all about aggression. It's all about board control. It's all about being in control, dictating the flow of the battle, not being a passive, reactionary player, but being an aggressive, proactive, competitive player. That's how you win games. Okay, and this mass deep striking, I've learned this from my Gene Stealer cult. A lot of you guys out there are like, oh, Morning Glories, turn to the cult. Oh, you know, send the Inquisitor over, Exterminatus, you know, all that guy. I read the comments. I read the comments, guys. I read the comments. You're calling Exterminatus on me. I'm the Inquisition, guys. I was doing my radical Xenos inquisitorial research. And I learned this, because now you can apply this to things like Scions. You know? Because as I pointed out in my Gene Stealer Cult Tactics videos, close combat isn't where, you know, Gene Stealer Cult close combat's great, but it's unreliable. It's so unreliable. You want to be able to the best deep striking units are ones that deep strike in to shoot your opponent to death. That's why Dark Eldar are so powerful. The fact that they can deep strike in 3 Ravagers, you know. So we've talked about this with, you know, Gene Stealer Cult now. It's about having that balance between how much you deep strike and being able to maintain board control and durability. Now, if you bring, you know, done that with Gene Stealer Cult, bring this round to Scions and Imperial Guard. Okay, looking at things like Hellhounds, Tauroxes, Taurox Primes, Scout Sentinels. This is how you do it. Mass deep. You guys might be thinking, well, he's not really talking about what he's deep striking. No, I'm not going to talk about what I'm deep striking. That's not, you know, deep strike whatever the hell you want. You know, deep strike mass plasma. You know, if you're Scions, deep strike mass neophytes or aberrants. You know, that's not what it's. This is the key, guys. This is why you come here. This is the key to successfully mass deep striking. It's not even about the deep strikers. The key, the hidden gem to successfully doing a mass deep strike is about what you're not deep striking. Okay, it's about setting it up, because we all, you know, anyone can throw 100 Scions in reserve and give them more plasma. Anyone can do that. That's easy enough to do. I've talked about that 100 times. That's easy enough to do. The key to mass deep strike is about what you're not deep striking. It's about how you set the dominoes up, so then you can knock them over like a house of cards. Checkmate. Okay, that's how you do it. Okay, that's how you do it. And the way you do it with Imperial Guard is all about claiming that board control. That's what it's all about. It's about, because remember, you've got a whole turn. You can't, in many tournaments you only get to 5 turns, right? Let me put this in some context for you, okay? In many tournaments you only get 5 turns, maybe 6. Okay, if you're playing ITC. Okay. Now, if you put so much into Deep Strike and you're just focused on surviving turn 1, you're essentially wasting an entire, like potentially 20% of the game. You're wasting it. You're doing nothing with 20% of the game. Oh, I only have to survive turn 1. No, you have to achieve something in every turn. Especially if it's ITC. You've got to claim those objectives. You've got to kill that unit. You have to factor that in. You've got to be able to do that stuff as well. And then the mass Deep Strike comes in and then you clean house. But turn 1 is still very important. Your Deep Strikers aren't coming until turn 2. And the key to mass Deep Striking is what you do in that turn 1 to set you up for the turn 2. That's the key. Okay? Now, just to spend a little bit of time on talking about the mechanics of what you should be Deep Striking, especially with Imperial Guard. It's pretty obvious, guys. It's we're talking scions here, but there's also things taken into account, like Talon, or Talon. I like to say Talon, but Talon, with their ambush stratagem, being able to outflank huge amounts of units. Okay, I think there's definitely potential to be taking a double brigade Talon list, and you to be able to spend like 2 lots of the ambush stratagem. So that's like 6 command points, and then you take the dagger of Tukashuka Ra, whatever it is, and that lets you outflank another 2 units. So that's 8 units you can outflank as Talon. And let me tell you, that is powerful. You could outflank 3 units of foot veterans. One of those outflankers can be a squadron of vehicles. Boom, bring in 3 hellhounds, bring in some Lehman Russes, goddammit, and bring loads of infantry along as well. That's the way to do it. That is the way to do it, guys. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Hope it has been eye-opening for you, how sort of the key to Deep Striking, especially if you're doing mass Deep Striking, is what you do to set that up. What you put on the board first. Imperial Guard, it's a little easier because if you put 1,000 points into Deep Strike, you're still going to have like 50 infantry and like 5 tanks or something crazy. Imperial Guards are relatively cheap, so I wouldn't worry about being tabled. But with that turn 1, you have to decide, you have to get some screening units, and you have to have some Lehman Russes or some other long-range damage-dealing units to help you soften the enemy up before the big Deep Strike comes in. Okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave lots and lots of comments. Tell me what you think. And of course, I'll see you guys next time.